We've been sold a lie. The idea that if you just work hard enough, grind long enough, sacrifice more than everyone else, you'll make it. Success, respect, security. But what if that's not true? What if working hard, like you've been told, is actually the worst thing you can do? Machiavelli, the Renaissance political genius often labeled as cynical, saw through this centuries ago. He understood something few dare say out loud even today. Power doesn't go to the hardest worker. It goes to the smartest operator, the one who understands how the game works, not the one breaking their back trying to play fair. Today, we romanticize hard work, the 16-hour workdays, the no-sleep grind. We wear burnout like a badge of honor. But Machiavelli would call this foolish, because working hard doesn't guarantee you power. In fact, it often keeps you powerless. Why? Because while you're working, someone else is watching, learning, positioning themselves above you. Hard work without leverage is slavery. And Machiavelli was all about leverage. Contrary to popular belief, Machiavelli wasn't evil. He was honest, brutally so. He stripped away illusions and told the truth about power, that perception is stronger than reality, that being feared is safer than being loved, and most relevant here, that effort without strategy is a waste. He believed it's better to appear virtuous than to be virtuous. To look competent, not necessarily be the most skilled, because the masses judge with their eyes, not with their reason. Sound harsh? Maybe. But look around. Who gets promoted? Who gets followed? Who gets remembered? We've been fed a story that if you just do your job well, you'll rise. That systems are fair. That effort equals reward. But Machiavelli would laugh. Not because he was cruel, but because he understood that systems serve themselves. And that loyalty to the system rarely gets you rewarded, it gets you used. Those in power don't reward the hardest worker. They reward the one who's useful, clever, or strategically aligned, not the one sweating the most. There's a dark side to working hard no one talks about. It often trains you to be obedient, not intelligent. You get praised for following orders, not questioning them. You become afraid of rest, of silence, of strategy, because your value becomes tied to how busy you are, not how smartly you move. Machiavelli would say, never do more than necessary. Not out of laziness, but out of preservation. When you work too hard, people expect it. When you give too much, they feel entitled to it. The moment you stop, they punish you for it. Here's a truth most won't admit. Strategic laziness is often more powerful than blind effort. Why? Because it allows for observation, calculation, positioning. Machiavelli admired rulers who didn't rush. They waited. They played long games. They understood that the lion's strength is impressive, but the fox's cunning wins kingdoms. Working hard is exhausting. Working smart is sustainable. It leaves room to maneuver. It keeps you in control. Here's Machiavelli's masterstroke. In most situations, it's not what you are, it's what you appear to be. He wrote, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. So if people think you're capable, powerful, or competent, that belief can serve you more than any hours of labor ever could. This isn't about being fake. It's about understanding perception as currency. And working hard in secret doesn't build perception, only visibility does. So does that mean you do nothing? Of course not. But here's how Machiavelli would want you to work. Work strategically, not endlessly. Be seen doing the right things, not everything. Protect your energy, because energy is power. Make yourself valuable, not just busy. Use silence as a weapon. Pause as a tactic. You aren't meant to be a machine. You are meant to be a player. If you've ever felt like your hard work isn't getting you anywhere, maybe that's because it's not meant to. Not in a system built on appearances. Not in a world that rewards leverage. Not loyalty. You don't need to work harder. You need to become harder to replace. Harder to ignore. Harder to manipulate. And that starts with stepping back and asking yourself, am I working hard or am I working smart? Because the truth is, the more you blindly grind, the more you become a tool for someone else's game. And Machiavelli would never let that happen. This channel is about understanding yourself, layer by layer. If this spoke to something inside you, you're not alone. Subscribe for more insights on the mind, purpose, and power. And remember, you were never meant to be a servant to effort. You were meant to become a master of strategy,